कुछ भी बन सकते हैं. When I get up, I think to go to school, have fun and learn new things so I get good job. I like to go to school because we learn English, math and science, poems and stories, Akbar and Birbal. I can make new friends.
In 2009, the government enacted the Right to Education Act. It entitled every Indian child between the ages of 6 and 14 years to a free and compulsory education. The following year, in April 2010, the Act came into effect. Today, 5 years later, the country has already missed 2 deadlines to fully implement it, and experts feel India is nowhere close to achieving its dream of complete literacy. The RTE had a very ambitious nationwide plan. In addition to putting every child in school, it envisaged a proper education infrastructure that included sufficient teachers trained to equip their wards with the right learning, a healthy student-teacher ratio, and proper schools. The Act did manage to bring more children to school, almost to the point just shy of near universal enrollment. It also focused much needed attention to school infrastructure.
First of all, they understand the importance of education. They want to educate their children. But when they see that after going 4-5 years in the school and children are not able to read and write, then they see that there is that their interest level decrease actually.
To keep children in the classroom, a key element of the Act was its emphasis on child-centric learning in an environment that is free of fear or anxiety.
Lord bless our school. Lord bless our school today.
But a survey by an RTE forum reveals its failures. The study estimates that 6.04 million children between the ages of 6 and 13 years are out of school. 1 million more drop out before completing elementary education. 75% of them are from Dalit, tribal and Muslim communities.
We have not made any progress on some of the game-changing provisions of the right to education. To my mind, 2 very important ones. One is the provision to strengthen school management committees and give school management committees the capacity to monitor and plan for the schools. School management committees have been set up on paper everywhere. However, the quality of their engagement with the school is minimal, the quantum of money that they receive is minimal, the extent of powers and capabilities they have to actually do the job that they've been legally mandated to do is non-existent.
The RTE Act mandates some basic infrastructural norms for schools in terms of number of classrooms, boundary walls, playgrounds, separate toilets for girls and drinking water facilities. But 5 years after the Right to Education Act, compliance is still very slow, especially in the case of toilet for girls, boundary walls and playgrounds. Playgrounds are particularly scarce. In the financial year 2013-14, only 58% schools had playgrounds. Although between 2012-2013 and 2013-14, there was a significant 20% rise in the percentage of schools with girls' toilets. The number of students in a classroom also declined. From 32 in 2009-10, it came down to 28 in 2013-14. The Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is the primary vehicle to implement the RTE. This flagship program to provide elementary education was launched in 2001. Today, its goals are to open new schools in areas that don't have them, address inadequate teacher numbers, and ensure life skills in elementary education. In 2013-14, 21.4 lakh seats were reserved for disadvantaged students across the country. Delhi accounted for 38,297 seats, of which 92% were filled. Madhya Pradesh filled 88% of its 1.82 lakh seats, while Andhra Pradesh found candidates for just 0.2% of its 1.72 lakh seats. Uttar Pradesh filled 3% of 5.84 lakh seats, Tamil Nadu 11% of 1.43 lakh seats, Maharashtra 19% of 1.42 lakh seats, Bihar had 20.78% candidates for 18,930 seats, while West Bengal did a shade better by filling 32.05% of 54,097 seats.
हमारे स्कूल में पढ़ाई ठीक से नहीं होती है। अगर टीचर नहीं आते तो अरेंजमेंट लगता है, तो वो वाले टीचर नहीं आते, और आते हैं तो अपने बातों में लगे रहते हैं, बच्चों की तरफ बिल्कुल भी ध्यान नहीं देते हैं।
There have been a number of studies in India that tell us that teacher accountability is an extremely serious problem. Teacher absenteeism is extremely high. The last nationwide study pinned it at about 25%. And not only is teacher absenteeism high, what makes it even more worrying is there is no guarantee that if a teacher shows up in school, the teacher actually teaches. So that is an indicator of how deep-seated the governance failure is in India.
The situation is no different for private schools. Data from 28 states for Class 1 shows this. Out of 2,06,000 private unaided schools, only about 45,000 or less than 25% enrolled students in 2013-14. Rajasthan had the highest proportion of 65%, Delhi had 48% and Uttarakhand 43%. Andhra Pradesh had just 0.1%, while Odisha with 1% and Uttar Pradesh with 2% were the states with the lowest participation rate. Among the successes in the field of education, India can count gender parity in primary and secondary education. In fact, it is the only country in South and West Asia to have ensured this. It has done this mainly by providing free textbooks, recruiting female teachers, holding back-to-school camps and bridge courses. But apart from the stray successes, in a broader context, India has failed to make much impact in education. Illiteracy has reduced only marginally, from 18% in 2000 to 14% in 2015. In a reply to the Rajya Sabha, the Ministry of Human Resource Development disclosed that for not complying with RTE norm, 1,170 schools were closed in Punjab in 2013. 4 were shut down in Himachal Pradesh and 5 in Kerala during 2014-15. Rajasthan closed or merged 142 schools, mainly for zero enrollment.
मैं जब भी अपने बच्चों के लिए स्कूल में एडमिशन के लिए जाता हूँ तो बोलते हैं कि अभी सीट खाली नहीं है और क्या कहते हैं आपका ये पेपर की ज़रूरत है, इनकम सर्टिफिकेट और एक दो पेपर का बोलते हैं, वो हम कोशिश भी करते हैं तो उनमें में टाइम निकल जाता है, उनकी सीट फुल हो जाती हैं और हमारे बच्चों का एडमिशन नहीं हो पाता.
To help children benefit from its schemes, the government needs to shift focus by having child-friendly and inclusive learning environments. More importantly, it needs trained teachers and proper training programs. Experts are demanding proper monitoring of RTE, not just on the basis of infrastructure but learning outcomes. They want states to be made more accountable towards achieving set goals. According to them, teachers can do this by collecting and analyzing data.